speech inhibition. I was also hypnotized to think that it meant that the people who hypnotized me were angry instead of myself, which was a method of decreasing resistance to post-hypnotic suggestion by causing confusion, diffusing anger, and to distract attention, as well as instilling a false belief of progress in an attempt to make me stop by trying to make me feel like I made enough progress. So there's that. And then let's see, the post-hypnotic suggestions. Body language included strain, speaking, and remembering, exaggeration of emotional responses, abnormal facial expressions, abnormal or exaggerated heavy breathing, eliciting anger when resisting post-hypnotic suggestions to conceal post-hypnotic suggestions, muscle tension when resisting post-hypnotic suggestions, back pain that increased the more I resisted post-hypnotic suggestions. By the way, hypnosis can control a wide variety of different things, like salivation to mucosal production as well. So there's a lot of things that it can control. Cough reflex, to an extent, but like mucosal control specifically. Sense of thirst, sense of hunger too. Um, could even reduce inflammation as an example as well. It's one of the phenomena of it. It's like, whoa, didn't know that, right? Speech pattern, slowed and delayed speech, stuttering, speech pattern interruption phrases. Yeah, right? Those are the speech pattern interruption phrases that they used. They did that to conceal speech inhibition and create false impression of incompetence in whatever I was talking about. Repetitive, vague, indirect, and incomplete speech patterns to conceal inhibited speech and articulation, inhibiting comprehension and understanding by omitting essential context, resulting in incomplete and ineffective communication to consume excessive amounts of time, inhibition of vocabulary and articulation, cognition, dizziness, inhibited cognition, eliciting a state of confusion, brief repression of memory, replicated symptoms of sleep deprivation without sleep deprivation. And if I said any of that and it seemed forced, the reason being is it's the hypnosis trying to cover up something that's too obvious. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and upload this video. This one I really liked a lot, because it had kind of more in it, I felt like, kind of. Yeah, I'm going to include it. Alright, next. No, I'm actually just going to start the next video. That was interesting. See, also the hypnosis has been used to cause me a lot of confusion to keep me from being able to make a good, decent response. I mean, decision. Sorry about that, not response. 05, 19, 22. This is ridiculous. Alright, hold on just a second. Okay, great. So, let's see here. That was an elicitation of anger, right? That was a post-hypnotic suggestion in an attempt to instill the belief of false belief, with as well as multiple facial expressions in a successive manner. Sorry about that. My speech is being, there we go, now I can talk again. So, okay, yeah, there's a variety of different post-hypnotic suggestions that were very specific because, yeah, this is ridiculous, wow. This was a lot more than just that, I think, too. And the confusion, too, I don't like it. I don't like this. This is really abusive. Another reason I was hypnotized to think that being hypnotized to feel angry meant that hypnotists that abused me with hypnosis were angry because I ruined something for them that they did to abuse me in an attempt to decrease resistance to the post-hypnotic suggestion of feeling anger. Because I would feel satisfaction for making the hypnotist that abused me feel angry, they told me they were going to abuse me so much that I wouldn't want to be myself anymore after how much and that they were going to hypnotize me. Wow, this is really abusive because they're not allowing me to write it correctly. Because they told me they were going to abuse me so much that I wouldn't want to be myself anymore. And I mean, like, they did so much to abuse me, too, with this, right? But the thing is, with that one specifically, and, you know, like, also the elicitation of anger and everything along those lines in a successive manner, it kind of reminds me of Tourette's syndrome, where it's almost like my speech would have a noticeable tick. And it's not literally a tick, of course. It's hypnosis. It's much different. Completely different, but that's one of the things that they did, that I wouldn't want to be myself anymore. Oh my god. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. So like I said, I shouldn't also be smiling either. They did that, they hypnotized me to feel euphoria too, usually when I would smile. So then I wouldn't notice it. Like for example, they did that when I would talk about murder. Because they're sick. They told me they were going to abuse me so much that I wouldn't want to be myself anymore. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Wow, okay, that was interesting. Huh. Okay, great. So I just erased that for no reason, basically. Anymore after how much? Oh, that they did do that. Wow, okay. They had to make it seem like I didn't utilize a grammatical error. Wow. They told me that they were going to abuse me so much that I wouldn't want to be myself anymore afterwards. And I wrote after how instead of afterwards. I got it on video. Whoa. And then I wrote. So just barely I wrote after. So any more after instead of afterwards. I know that's confusing. That's very confusing. I am really being abused a lot. It's right there. Right there. After, right here. On the other side. There we go. after, and then you can see I started to erase it, but it's there. It's there. There we go. And that's the like audible elicitation or grunt that they hypnotized me to elicit. Audible elicitation. Sorry about that. They are very specific with the words that they use. The articulate, the specific, very specific articulation. That's bad. I wouldn't want to be myself anymore afterwards. I still didn't write words. Okay. It's a good thing I noticed it. And this is where it gets kind of confusing, that they were going to hypnotize me to let me act like I was someone else, and they got the idea from the Billie Eilish song, I Don't Want to Be You Anymore. So then they covered up the feeling of anger that I was forced to elicit involuntarily. You really can't make this stuff up. That they got the idea from the Billie Eilish song. You really can't make this stuff up, though. Seriously, it's horrible. This is really abusive. So I'm gonna end the video right now, and I'm gonna start the next one. I'm gonna use this example. So I gotta rename some of these. Let's see, and I have to also make sure to include that it's an MP4. Let's see, there we go. I don't wanna be you anymore. Okay. There's that one. I'm gonna upload this. I'm gonna say this. What the hell? My phone just like closed the renaming thing. Uploaded. There. Uploaded. I'm gonna do this uploaded 1.mp4. So it's gonna be uploaded 2.mp4. Come on. There we go. Uploaded 2.mp4. Uploaded 3.mp. Wait. Cancel. And then there's the other three that I think I already have. Wait. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there should be. Let me see. Okay, there's 4 hypnosis inhibiting handwriting examples, and then videos that I have. Okay, there are 4 in there. I have to date these as well. Let's see, so I'm uploading 7 videos off this phone right now. What? Anyways, and apparently in an attempt to prevent me from uploading the I don't want to be you anymore video. I was hypnotized to think that I was one of the other videos. So I'm going to upload this as I don't want to be Matt anymore. Be hypnotized anymore. How about that? There we go. I don't want to be hypnotized anymore. Oh, that's horrible. I'm going to make that one public. Wait. I'm listed right now. That's so bad. That's so bad. That is so bad. The context of it makes it so much worse. So much worse. I don't want to be hypnotized anymore. That was the very last video I did. And it is labeled under I don't want to be you anymore, but yeah, anyways. Another reason I was hypnotized to think that, there we go. So I was hypnotized to imagine that I was acting like the hypnotist that abused me when I resisted post-hypnotic suggestions to prevent me from resisting the anger. They also told me to that makes sense. They also told me to imagine someone playing with a toy in their hands and that the toy was like a Rubik's Cube and that if I broke that toy to feel very angry because of what the toy meant. And the Rubik's Cube was supposed to kind of represent like a rib cage, which would kind of represent like, because they tried to frame me and everything along those lines. So that's what's going on. Operant conditioning was also frequently used as a form of punishment or negative reinforcement to deter specific behaviors like anything regarding politics, articulating my speech, writing to compensate for speech inhibition. Sorry about that. Writing to compensate for speech inhibition. To deter me. Oh, wait. Nope, that's not it. To deter me from making videos, learning, and collecting or disclosing evidence of any criminal activity the hypnotists were involved in with methods such as dizziness, dysphoria, drowsiness, confusion, pain, nausea, and several unpleasant post-hypnotic suggestions. I was hypnotized to feel euphoria to promote initiating a different behavior than a behavior they attempted to deter dysphoria unsuccessfully. And they also tried to, make me talk about drugs when I talked about being hypnotized to feel euphoria, because they, wanted to make it look like I was on drugs instead of hypnotized. Another method that they used. So just make sure to watch the entire video that I'm gonna be using with the This is the page 3 of the speech inhibition. And I guess they didn't want me to specify that in this video either. I was hypnotized to feel euphoria to promote initiating a different behavior than a behavior they attempted to deter with dysphoria unsuccessfully, to decrease resistance to post-hypnotic suggestions, to inhibit my ability to know when I am in danger by repressing my ability to feel fear, to inhibit my sense of urgency to prevent me from finishing important tasks and projects within a reasonable amount of time, and decrease resistance to the hypnosis, inhibiting me and repressing my memory as much as I would tolerate it, to consume as much of my time as possible. Another method that was used to inhibit American Horror Story, horror story over here, right? Literally. My ability to speak and communicate. To inhibit my ability to speak and communicate is called a pattern interruption. And I was hypnotized to feel very tense, by the way, as well. Didn't want me to let go of the emotion, I guess, and get back to normal baseline, right? I mean, it was a little stressful to read, but anyways, my ability to speak and communicate is called interrupting the ability to speak and communicate, which is called a pattern interrupt, which was used through post-hypnotic suggestion to interrupt through thought patterns. Sorry about that. So, inhibit my ability to speak and communicate, which is called a pattern interrupt, which was used through post-hypnotic suggestion to interrupt thought patterns, behavior patterns, and speech patterns. Let me just double check that sentence structure. Another method that was used to inhibit my ability to speak and communicate is, okay, yeah, that works. It's called a pattern interrupt, which was used through post-hypnotic suggestion to interrupt thought patterns, behavior patterns, and speech patterns. In a therapeutic context, this would be used to induce hypnosis or interrupt negative patterns, although this was specifically used to interrupt productive patterns and positive patterns with distraction, which would prevent the completion of the patterns. The pattern interrupt technique interrupted me gathering, organizing, or disclosing evidence in any form with hypnotic cues to distract attention long enough so that the hypnosis could repress my memory before being able to finish, resulting in an incomplete, unorganized compilation of evidence, and attempts to disclose evidence with inhibited articulation in speech would be excessively repetitive. I'm supposed to have a comma after speech, huh? Speech would be excessively repetitive, vague, indirect, and incomplete, resulting in. Wait, no, I don't think I'm supposed to have a comma after that. Okay, that makes sense, yeah. So the pattern interrupt technique interrupted me gathering, organizing, or disclosing evidence in any form with hypnotic cues to distract attention long enough so that the hypnosis could repress my memory before being able to finish, resulting in an incomplete and unorganized compilation of evidence and attempts to disclose evidence with inhibited articulation in speech, which um, would be excessively repetitive, vague, indirect, and incomplete. Oh, okay, that's it. That makes sense. Without being able to finish. Now, if I put a period after this, maybe that'll make it work better. Resulting in an incomplete and unorganized compilation of evidence and attempts to disclose evidence with inhibited articulation in speech would be excessively repetitive, vague, indirect, and incomplete, resulting in the general public being incapable of understanding or comprehending the situation. One of the tendencies of the post-hypnotic suggestions was that the post-hypnotic suggestions were elicited in a format that frequently utilized very specific and relevant metaphors that were typically used as a direct post-hypnotic suggestion and or used as a metaphor to cause confusion and distract attention in order to decrease resistance and enforce blind obedience to the post-hypnotic suggestions. The post-hypnotic suggestions were oftentimes commands in the form of an incomplete metaphor that initially wouldn't make sense at all until after refusing or complying with a command and punishment or reward of this behavior would be described. Wait, what? I think I might reword that sentence. The post-hypnotic suggestions were oftentimes commands in the form of an I think I'm going to start next video. Yeah. Let's see. The post-hypnotic suggestions. Blah blah blah. Where is it? Reading. There we go. The post-hypnotic suggestions were oftentimes commands in the form of an incomplete metaphor that initially wouldn't make sense at all until after refusing or complying with a command. And punishment or reward of the behavior would be described of the missing context that was needed to complete and make sense of the metaphor. Would be described in the form of the missing context. How about that? because this is operant conditioning for you.